Hello then folks, we've come for a right quick session at the beautiful Birchhouse Lakes today. First things first though, got to mix your ground bait. As soon as you get to your peg, we are on the Kingfisher Lake today, Lake 1. The most important thing is to do your ground bait. So I've just emptied the bag, we've got the last remaining pint of Power Scope X, yeah? I've had sort of 6 sessions with this ground bait, that's how good that ground bait is. All we're going to do, a level pint full of ground bait, doink into the bucket, and then we just get a level pint of water, like so, same as the ground bait, that goes straight into there, mix that around. It looks like you've ruined it in a wanna because it'll all be dead sloppy, but you leave that to stand for 15 to 20 minutes, come back to it, fluff it all up, put it through a riddle if you want to, but with the Super Crush Expander range you don't really need to. Fluff it all up and that'll be your feed. And we're going to feed a few maggots over the top. Looking to catch loads of silvers today, but obviously I'm sure the F1s and carps are going to get a look in the topping as we go. So without further ado, Zolt, come on, let's get some gear set up. So really early autumn folks, and what seems weird after months of using no lighter elastic than like, I'm going to say Greens Duras, like 11s. Look what I've got today. I can't even see the elastic, it's that fine, but single 6s slip. It is probably my favouriteest sort of autumn winter elastic in the world. It's just phenomenal. It does absolutely everything. I used to use this back in the day for like catching big carps and that, and the beauty of it is it's got a massive breaking strain, but also it's so soft that you can get the smallest of fish in right to the largest of fish, that when you get down to your puller kit, just keep pulling and you just get the fish in. It's phenomenal. Such a good all-round elastic, but it's going to be right weird using something that fine to start off with, so expect me to be striking slightly too hard and then having to pull a little bit more than what I'm used to. But yeah, single 6s folks, get on it from now all the way through winter. Right, so rig choice. I'm going to fish dead simple today, fishing at like 5 metres, my top kit, 2 sections on with a section behind me. Rig wise couldn't be simpler. I've got 4 14s, 4 16s, F1 maggot out. I'm a little bit undecided yet what I'm going to use. I'll probably go for 4 14s simply because it's not windy. Don't need to sort of like get down to the bottom quick. I want to bring that bait in a little bit more natural. But you know, if it's proper good on the bottom and running it down quicker, I'll use a 4 16s. And then the other rig I'm going to use is I'm just going to get out one of our F1 shallow floats, if I've got some done up from last year. Yeah, there we have. We've got 3 on the same winder there. So I'm going to pick out one of them 4B8s F1 shallow because we've only just gone into autumn. Obviously it's still mild. It's like, even though it's flipping horrendous and raining, it's like 14 degrees, 15 degrees, and there's fish topping. I know this lake, I know there's fish like to come shallow, but starting off wise, because it is a little bit colder at nights now, I'm going to start off on the bottom and then read what's happening. Obviously we're getting liners and foul lookers and we can see swirls over our bait. You know what I'm like with shallow fishing folks, I'm going to come shallow. But it'd be interesting for you to see the things that I'm looking for that will give me the indication or tell me that I need to, you know, change rigs and come shallow, or might be that I need to stay on the bottom. The last time I fished it, it was even warmer. Couldn't get a bite shallow, everything was on the bottom. If you remember when I did that challenge with Jamie, I've had like, what, nearly 50 pound of skimmers in 2 hours, you know, fishing on the bottom. So it's phenomenal water, this one. But without going into it too much, that's what I'm going to do. Start off on the bottom, probably work my way up shallow.
Andy, what did I tell you about shallow?
Oh, Zol, I thought we got over that, mate. Right, so, Zol, right, here we go then, folks. You've got to bear in mind that I have caught a fit, but it was 4 weeks ago, my last fish. So I need to catch shallow. I've not fished shallow for, 4 weeks. I've got to have my fix, Zol. I know we agreed that I wouldn't. Zol, I've got the rigs. I can't put these back in there. I've got them out now, Zol, so I'm fishing shallow.
Thank you.
I'm just going to put this float right down to my bulk shot then and fish shallow with that one.
Nightmare.
Right, I've just noticed that the cafe is open behind us. We've just been doing some bacon butties, but I've not had a brew this morning yet, folks. So what I'm going to do, because it'll probably take 5 or 10 minutes to get these fish going, I'm going to feed my bait first so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to put them 2 balls in, then I'm going to get a brew, and then I'm going to come back and hopefully there'll be some fishes around it. So first things first, I'm just going to get a few. Now what I've got, like maggots, I've got 2 pints of maggots. I've got bronze and red simply because I was on the river yesterday and it's flipping amazing. Normally I'd have like white and reds, but bronze and reds, I don't think it'll matter for this time of year. I'm just going to get what's there, sort of like 25, 30 maggots. They're going to go in the ground bait. I'm going to put a little bit more over the top, and this is going to be my hard ball, yeah? So hard ball with all them maggots in, they'll start wriggling pretty quick, so I need to be quick as I'm shipping out. And I'm going to put this one right on my marker. So my marker is this joint of pole here on my front leg, and I've got a tree in the distance, and that is going to go in straight there. So you can see that hardly any cloud coming off that ball of ground bait, yeah? That's going straight down to the bottom. Now my next one, I'm going to mix, well, I'm going to form with hardly any force at all. So I'll get a few more maggots in, fold it over again, literally get it in the palm of my hand, give it a little one like that. That's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to drop this one from a bit of a height. Just so it creates a bit of commotion, gets them fish interested, but more importantly, breaks out into a bit of a cloud. So on my marker again, so you see from a bit of a height, doink. Now look at the difference in that. Yeah, you see the cloud breaking out, you can see that ground bait's broken up already. That's just going to attract fish from miles around. But then the lake's not a mile, so from like meters around, that's what I meant to say. Right, come on Zot, let's go and get a brew. 5 minutes, get back, and then let's get snarled up in some skimmers. Brews have been drunk then folks. 10 minutes or 12 minutes has passed because it was a lovely hot brew. And I can see there's fish there fizzing, so hopefully we're going to get a quick response. So when I can see them like that, I'm going to start off on the bottom just to see what's what. I'm not going to go straight in shallow, although I do want to. No, I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. We're going to start off on the bottom. So, bottom rig, remember this is 7 number 9s tapered. Going to start off with double maggot. I'm going to go double bronze to start with. Go on the bronzer wise. Literally just got back, not fed anything. I'm not going to like go nuts with my loose feed either. I'm just going to feel my way into it. Laying the rig in, I'm going to put the rig in sort of like upwind if you like. I've drawn the rig back and then flop the float over itself so it just goes straight down and sinks exactly where I want it to. So I'm going to get some maggots in over that. Ugh. And I can see straight away that we've had a little, is that on the drop? That was a little dink on the drop then. That's nuts in it. Literally not fed anything other than them maggots. And we had a little indication straight away. So you can see how quickly that rig sinks, yeah, when I'm bringing the float back and then fold it over itself. Right, don't get too giddy on the strike, Andrew. If I miss a bite, because it's, oh, there we go, straight away. So I'm going to say, if I missed a bite, what I've done is just flop my float back down. Yeah, I don't want to lift that whole rig out like I did on that first strike and lay the whole rig in again. But there you go. That's the kind of fish that you can expect coming into sort of like autumn. You know, from like a really decent summer we've had this year. The fish is still really active now, still feeding, and that's the important thing, is that feeding aspect. Because obviously the next thing around the corner is the winter, yeah, the winter slumber. The fish need to sustain themselves through that winter period. So that's why they do have a massive feed up for like, I'm going to say, all through September into sort of like the first week or two of October until we get that really cold weather, and then they just shut up shop. But as long as we keep getting like that bit of mild weather, then fish will still, you know, feed, especially on maggots as well. But the beauty of the ground bait is it'll just instantly draw them fish in. It's funny because I was saying to Zolt when we were getting our brews at the cafe behind us, I could actually see fish fizzing as we were getting the brews, so it just shows you how quick they're on that bait. It's mad, isn't it? Absolutely nuts. It's so good. So I'm not going to feed loose feed this next time, so I'm getting lovely bites as soon as it gets down to the bottom. Look at them beautiful skimmers. Such good fishing, folks, it really is. And that's what you can expect to say this time of year. Bronze maggots, that might be my new white maggots, you know, folks. Get on the bronzies, just pretend you're on the river. It's funny, isn't it? I've never really fished bronze maggots on commercials. Yet on the river, I'd never take like whites on, I'd always take bronze and reds. It's mad, isn't it? That might be the new thing. Don't be telling anyone, will you, folks? Don't be telling anyone fishing bloody bronzes. Right, don't feed, Andrew. See what happens. Obviously, from a match perspective, ultimately, I still kind of want to draw them shallow because it's such fast fishing. But there'll be days where they don't really want to be, you know, shallow. Look at that little dink then. The days where they don't want to be shallow, they just want to be on the bottom. So if you can sort of concentrate them on the bottom, which we are doing, then you know you can do a silly weight, but there'll be days when you're just getting funny bites, and you know you've almost got to feed to how the fish want to feed and start putting bait in, loose feeding to draw them up shallow. Today I think because we've had a couple of cool days, you know, it's dropped to sort of like, well, it's not really low, but sort of like 9-10 degrees at night time. That's probably why the fish are really happy on the bottom at the minute. So I'm going to get into a rhythm of feeding every other fish, or loose feeding every other fish. At the minute it's going brilliantly. I'm going to put in like 20-30 maggots in every time I loose feed. At the minute it's going brilliant, not missing any bites. It's getting down to the bottom, the fish is seeing it, and it's, you know, it's getting nailed. If that was to change and I wasn't getting like, you know, bites through the water, or seeing the little dinks and missing them, then I'll know that obviously basically there's not many fish there, so I need to put some more ground bait in. I don't want to just keep putting ground bait in and ground bait in and ground bait in. There's got to be you know, you've got to make sure you're feeding at the right time. We had a little dink then and missed it, which could have been, you know, fish coming up in the water for the maggots, but I'd imagine it'd be a little skimmer on the bottom. So what I'm doing, you can see like how I'm laying the rig in. I'm laying it sort of like upwind, if you like, so that I'm creating a tight line as that rig's coming back through. And my pole is actually on the right hand side of my float, so I'm letting that toe drag my float through. That was a little dink then. Might be a carp there or something. Now it's just gone. You can see it's just gone that little bit quieter from what it was before. I'd like to have that float a little bit lower, if I'm honest, as well, but certainly if it was like a lot colder, I'd have that dotted right down. I wouldn't be having it like that, folks, that's for sure. But as it is there a little dink on that then? So I'm not going to start lifting and dropping just yet either. I'm just going to wait, see what happens. But then I will incorporate lifting and dropping in. You know, that can make a difference. So you see, it's just gone a little bit quieter this time. My rig's drifting a bit now, out to the right, so I'm just going to lift that up and bring it back so I'm on my marker. So it might be that, you know, I do need to start feeding over the top to, you know, draw fish in. So I'm just going to put some bait in and then see what the response is on my float. And watch me float all the time. See, that was a little dink then. That could have been, you know, some intercepting that bait through the water. But no, it was on the bottom, just slightly bigger fish. Whey! Oh yeah, I forgot to say about the jumpers, though. Lots of jumpers in here. So that's why we waited a little bit longer, just a slightly bigger fish there. But oh, it's so good using a light elastic on them, folks. It is just amazing. It's just amazing. Nice light elastic, look at them. Beautiful poppadoms there. Absolutely stunning fish they are. Really good. So at the minute, I'm really happy with how things are going. Yeah, slightly bigger skimmer. Definitely homing in on that that ground bait. Maggots. You know, with the maggots, obviously, yeah, it's great loose feeding them maggots to draw fish in if you're not getting bites, or to draw them up in the water. But if you are getting steady bites on the bottom, just try and get into a rhythm where you're feeding every other fish rather than constantly just keeping that bait going in. I'm going to lay this rig in a little bit different now. So before, I've been laying the rig out, bringing my float back, and then flopping my float over so it's going straight down to where I'm fishing. This time I'm going to lay that rig out, bring my float back, and I'm going to hold a tight line to my float. So if there's anything through the water, that's going to show up on my float. So you can see how long that float is taking to settle. Even though we've got quite positive shots on number 9s, it's taking that much longer to settle. It's probably settled around now, around the bottom. You see that float's starting to straighten up a little bit. And a little dink then, but there's nothing through the water. Now I loose fed some maggots just before, so I don't want to put any more in just yet, and see what happens. It might be that, you know, them bigger skimmers have moved in, so we'll just take a little bit longer to get a bite. It might be that red maggots might be better. You know, it's all these little things that you can, oh, that was a little dink then. All these little things that you can, you know, try on the day. Is it a little bit better? Yeah, so it's obviously just like a little bit bigger shoal just moved in for the time being. So that's why we're taking I mean, flipping it. It's not really that much longer, is it, between bites, but just taking that tiny little bit longer. Look at them. Proper weight builders they are, folks, aren't they? Beautiful poppadoms. Right, let's try, even though if I was in a match or, you know, you're pleasuring, I'll be doing it. I'm going to try different colour baits. I'm going to put 2 reds on. Obviously, you know, probably the most popular hook bait in the world, certainly when it comes into this time of year, but I suppose for all times of year, red maggots. I'll put 2 reds on now. Let's see what the response is on that. Again, I'm still going to hold a tight line, see what happens through the water, and I'm going to loose feed this time as well. Get some bait in. And see what happens through the water. Every time you loose feed, folks, just keep an eye on your float. If you're getting them little tiny dinks, things like that, it's telling you that the fish are coming off the bottom. Is it any faster on a red maggot? Perch bait, innit, red maggot? See if we can get a quicker response. If not, I'm going back on the bronzes. Now, what I haven't started doing yet, and what I would do more, you know, the colder it gets, is... Oh, we had a little dink there. I was just about to lift and drop then, it blooming went as soon as I started lifting and dropping. Is little lifts and drops. Not much, you know, sort of like smaller fish on red magpie. You've got a fish red magpies up. Is it a perch as well? Yes, I said we'd catch a perch on red maggots. Go on the perches. Now the beauty of a perch is that they don't chew your bait. So I'm going to go straight in on that. But if I catch another perch, then I'm going to go back on the bronze magpies. Right, I'm going to change my feeding a little bit now. And then start loose feeding every time I go in. See if we can, you know, draw them fish up. But how it's going, I'll be perfectly happy. You know, there's a little dink then. Tiny little dink. So it was a little bit quicker holding that tight line to that float that time, wasn't it? Little skimmer. Yeah, I'll be perfectly happy. You know, you can see at the minute, we don't need to change anything. Don't need to put any more ground bait in or anything like that. You know, it's perfectly fine how things are going. It's completely mixed of fish, you know. I've had a couple of decent ones there, and then we've gone back to little babby ones, so I'm going to go back on the bronze magpies. And because them fish are having it, as soon as it settles, I'm going to lay that rigging different again. So I'm like it was before, so lay that rig out, bring your float back, and then flop your float over right where you're fishing. You see how much quicker that rig settles. There we go, we're pretty much fishing now. Yeah, that's how much quicker it is. Laying the rigging differently. And if it's really good, if it got really good, then I'd just put a... Yeah, it's a lot better that, innit? I'd just put a heavier rig on, like a 416s or something, just to get down even quicker. Yeah. Oh, it's so good, isn't it? It's so nice to use a fine elastic as well. It's cushioning everything. I'm going to say it. So we haven't bumped anything yet, have we? Oh dear, we haven't bumped anything yet. So, yeah, I'm gonna carry on with this, but I reckon I'm gonna carry on loose feeding like I am doing, and we'll give it 10 or 15 minutes, and we'll see if we can get them fish coming up in the water, and then see how the stamp changes. But for now, I'm gonna carry on with this, and carry on catching some more slimy poppadoms. Right then, folks, 10-15 minutes since we last. Since I last spoke to you, and perch have moved in, so I put another little ball of ground bait in about 5 minutes ago, but I'm still catching perch. Now what I have noticed though, because I've been feeding, sort of double feeding 20-30 maggots every time I'm going in, I've had one swirl and I've missed a couple of bites. I wouldn't say there's loads shallow. See, that was another missed bite then. I wouldn't say there's loads shallow, but there's odd ones starting to appear. So I'm definitely going to have a go and catch one more on the bottom, and I'm going to have a go shallow just to see what's what. So you see my float's moving quite a bit now, little tiny dinks. It could be them perch though. I've had like 8 or 9 little waspy perch. I've never really caught them before, innit? It's mad, isn't it? Is this another one? That might be a poppadom. Is it perch? Yeah, another perch. It's nuts, isn't it? They usually like putting a bit of ground bait in, gets rid of them, but obviously they're starving, so it's not doing it today. So what I'd normally do is... And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get a little ball like that. Yeah, put that back in on the bottom, because I'm not interested in fishing on the bottom for a bit. I just want to see what's up in the water, if there's anything. But the beauty of putting a little bit of bait in on the bottom, that's going to keep them fish nice and happy down there. So on with my shallow rig. put a little bit of bait in. Let's have, only noticed one swirl, but the fact that we've had quite a few little dinks on our float through the water. Look at that fizzing there. Yeah, we've had quite a few dinks through the water. Hopefully we'll get one, or we'll get bites shallow. So I've initially gone for side up maggot, and we are about sort of 18 inches. Yeah, 18 inches, something like that, and we'll see what's what. If we don't get a bite, you know, after a couple of wallops over, then I'll come back and go a little bit deeper on my float. It's all about finding them, obviously, with shallow fishing. So first things first, as always, I'm going to feed some bait, wallop that rig over, upwind, so it's keeping everything nice and tight, and we'll see what happens. But I have got quite a long bit of line on, which will help me if I need to flick the rig past the pole tip. I'm not, oh, there we go. Yeah, just fixes everything, result, doesn't it? It's fish shallow, folks. It's fish shallow. Like, look, why would you not want to fish shallow? I mean, they're probably similar size to the perch, maybe. Yeah, no, they're a little bit bigger than the perch on the bottom, but you saw how much quicker that was, yeah? When you... Fishing shallow again, so. There's a look on Zot, he's not happy. He is not happy with me, folks. You know what I'm like, though, I just can't resist it. I might only get another... This might be my last time fishing shallow until next year's out, so I've got to get me fixing, haven't I, mate? You know what I mean? That elastic stick, you know. What I've not done, obviously, is changed my elastics yet this year, so these are still from last year, so they're a little bit sticky. Yes, it might be my last time shallow fishing's out, so just bear with me, mate. So feed, ship out, wallop. I'd say that fish was right on the settle. I'm not going to leave it too long, literally 10, 12 seconds at the absolute most. There we go. Yeah, fixes everything, Zolt. And there's even big skimmers and everything there, just fish shallow, folks. Why wouldn't you not want to? Yeah, but it's things I had to look out for. So obviously, they weren't happy on the bottom. They were to start with. It was catching like skimmers. But then obviously, I've had a load of perch rock up, and yeah, it's not the best thing to catch in a match if they're not like the big perch. So by putting that, look at that for a hybrid, so flipping it. So by obviously upping your feed on the loose feed, trying to draw them up to where they're happy, because don't forget the water's still pretty warm up in the upper layers. It's just where they want to be. So notice that's not far hooked, it's just wrapped around its fin. Mate, I'm positive. Look, Zolt, look where that is. Right in. Look at that for a hybrid, folks. Probably getting on for £1 that. Just amazing, isn't it? Right in the top lip. So yeah, so that's pretty much just fixes fishing, doesn't it? If in doubt, just fish shallow. Yeah, if you were stuck with them little fish on the bottom, I had tried feeding ground bait just to see if I could draw them skimmers back, but we're still catching perch. Now that says it all for me, that, folks. If you're catching perch over ground bait, obviously the bottom is, you know, alive with them. So by constantly loose feeding maggots or pellets, you know, there's a lot of F1s and carps. Obviously they'll still be feeding. But the beauty of your natural baits, sort of like this time of year, is you're going to catch absolutely everything swimming. So another little loose feed there. So I've not had to change depths or anything yet. The fish are having it literally as it settles. If we miss bites, we'll come shallower. If we not get bites, we'll go a little bit deeper. So it's settled now and we had another bite. Was that a jumper? I was looking at you, Zolt. Look at you pulling faces. Now look at the size difference in the fish as well, from coming shallower. So them fish, obviously, nice warm water, they just want to be the first to the bait. I think we'll end on this one, Zolt, and you're going to get a whooping. Doing a little challenge, you see, today. Zolt reckons he's going to challenge. We're going to have a little shallow fish off. Good luck, Zolt, that's all I'm saying. But look at that to end on. Beautiful poppadom. So then that poppadom there and the hybrid that we've just had will probably go just over £2. So when all else fails, just fish shallow. Proved it in the one, hasn't it, Zolt? Come on. Challenge accepted, Zolt. Come on. Oh, brilliant. Right, come on. Let's get on it. I thought we were doing the challenge.
Yeah,
Was that not that?
That's the next video.
Was that not that segment though?
No.
Was
that's
that-
No, that's a separate video.
Oh, was it? Oh, so just carry on catching with us at the minute.
Yeah, yeah. Just keep going on that.
Oh right, I thought have we not done 10 minutes on that?
Oh, no, it's 6 minutes.
Oh right, okay, flipping heck. Thought it'd been longer. Right, so where can you? So I'll go from like the challenge, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you can edit in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck in that challenge, though, because you. In fact, I'm almost going to say because you like poke fun at me fishing shallow all the time. I'll fish shallow, you fish on the bottom. Yeah, you happy with that, Zol?
No.
No, he's not happy with that, folks. He almost wants to go shallow. Well, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. I shouldn't be fishing on this end now, should I? I'm showing him what to do. But again, you see, I'm whacking that rig upwind. So when that wind blows my rig down, everything's nice and tight. Wait for that rig to settle, which it's done now. I'm not going to leave it too much longer. So if I go another 2 or 3 times now without a bite at that depth, I'll come back, put it a little bit deeper. It's not that the fish have just gone, vanished. It's just the fact that they might have gone a little bit deeper down in the water, or there might be a carp there. First thing I want to do though is flick that out a little bit. So past me bait there, I should get a quick response. It usually happens. The fish just at the back of your bait, swimming in. You get the fish coming to that main volume of bait, then you always get the ones that back off. Oh, there we go. Oh, I thought we were in a tangle then. I'll put some more bait in. I'll try that again. Flick past it. You notice I've got a section behind me as well, which I always do. So, a little tiny fish then. Yeah, I've got a section behind me, which I always do, just so I can follow the fish out. And what we need to do is just keep that bait going in. Not loads, sort of. I'm going to cut my bait down to sort of like 15 or 20 magwise now, but a little bit more often. You see, it's gone that little bit quiet, so there's either a bigger fish moved in, or I'll just need to go a little bit deeper. So next time I come back, I'm going to add like 4 inches to my rig, or a little bit deeper, and I reckon we've got to get a quick response again. I'm just going to have one more go like that. It's mad, isn't it, the difference? Like it's changed that quick. Yeah, from getting a bite of chuck, fish a chuck, to like 4 or 5 goes in now, and then nothing, just that little tiny roach. So it tells me that we've gone a bit deeper. Can't see there's any sign of like a big fish there, so it's just gone a little bit deeper. So literally all I'm going to do, get that float, move it up 4 inches, move my back shot. Don't have to move that shot that was under my float because that's perfect. All my shots are nice and spaced evenly. We've just got 4 number 11s down there, and this should make all the difference now. Change that up bait. Got another magwai on. Go on the bronze magwais. I'm definitely changing to bronze magwais. The only trouble is it makes your fingers go a little bit pongy. I'll show you my fingers in a minute. It's not pretty. I've got a bit of a habit there, but there we go. Right, so first things first, feed, ship out, wallop. Should get a bite fairly quick now, just because I've changed depths, I've changed something. Usually you get a bite pretty quick, or you get a response pretty quick anyway. Leave it a little bit longer before I wallop that rig over, just because I'm gone a little bit deeper, so I can afford to leave it a little bit longer. And again, it's like another 5 or 6 goes at this depth, and if you're not getting bites, just go a little bit deeper or a little bit further out, constantly changing. That's what it's all about. Remember, we put that ground bait in on the bottom before we went shallow, so the fish will still be happy there. I'm just going to try a little bit further out, so half a section down my pole, flick that over. I'm not going to feed out there, I'm still going to feed on me where I was fishing. But usually, there we go, a little bit further out and we get a bite straight away. But it's important that I don't feed out there. Use match conditions, they can, obviously chase out. But, oh, where's he gone? Where's he gone, Zol? Can't see him.
He went in the water, no?
Did he? I don't think so. I thought he'd gone behind me. Is he not under my foot plate?
No.
Oh, I can't see him. But if you see something flapping about then, it's not a mouse, it's a little roach, but can't see him. Must have gone back in. Must have gone back in. Yeah, so just proves what I was on about there. Just going that half a section further out, and we're instantly had them 2 bites straight away. Only small fish, but still fish. What I'm probably thinking of doing now, because we've had them, you know, that run of nice fish, you had that nice skimmer, that nice hybrid, then all of a sudden it's just gone a little bit pongy. Oh, he's fell off. It's just gone a little bit, well, smaller fish again. I'll probably just drop back down on the bottom and see what's down there. Or, nah, just go a little bit further out. Just go a little bit further out, innit, folks? So I'm glad that's happened, actually. Obviously, from where we first started, when we came to Shallow, we thought it would be solid, and then we've gone, obviously, you know, maybe a couple of minutes without a fish. No bites. We've gone a little bit deeper, tried it a bit further out, and that's where they are. So they're just backing off. But I think the important thing is that you don't chase the fish out with your feed out there. Max conditions you would do, you know, just trying to get a little bit further, but you certainly don't need to when you're pleasuring. So I think we'll end on that then, and then we'll get this challenge underway where Zolt's got a fish on the bottom and I'm going to fish shallow. Good luck, Zolt.